Warrior Fight Series, bout number 7. We stay in the amateur division, this time in the lightweight division. Please welcome, fighting out of the red corner, at just 18 years old and standing 5 feet 9 inches tall, making his debut from Glasgow, Scotland, Eddie Cook. And please welcome Eddie's opponent to the blue corner, a 31-year-old mixed martial artist, standing 6 feet 1 inches tall and weighing in at 70.3 kilograms. He has a fight record of 5 bouts and 3 bouts and 3 losses. Fighting out of Dublin, Ireland, John "Chopper" Reid. This is an amateur mixed martial arts bout of 3 3-minute rounds and is brought to you by Traditional Build, Daily Sport and Lonsdale.
So, Eddie Cook, 18 years of age, making his debut from Glasgow, 5'9", against the older John Reid, 31 years of age, 6'1", a fair bit taller, 3 fights on his record. And Chris, there's a story here. Eddie Cook making his debut, flew down from Glasgow. I say flew metaphorically. 12 hours before this bout to make sure John Reid still had a fight.
It's the Scots versus the Irish tonight, Malcolm. Who knows what's going to happen in this ring? And a solid, stiff jab coming in there from Eddie Cook.
Yeah, all credit to this young man, as I said, coming in at such short notice, coming down from Glasgow to take this fight, making his debut. Oh, but a beautiful left hook, fast hands from the young Scotsman.
But he gets clipped with a left hook coming in there from the chopper. John Reid looking to counter. He's got to keep moving that head. There we go. A couple of probing punches, finishing with that right round kick. Very nicely is John Reid. But as you said, Eddie Cook throwing hell for leather here.
He's fast and he's accurate and he's light on his feet and he comes forward nicely with the jab. But you notice, after the jab, the lateral movement away from trouble. And we talk about head movement a lot, Chris, but do you know what I like? Minimal head movement from a good boxer. He moves his head, but just enough to get himself out of the way.
And nicely off the waist, too.
Oh, that hurt. That left hook and then the uppercut. Dirty boxing on the inside.
And clinching beautifully with that left hand and coming up with the right uppercut. He goes nicely to the body and goes nicely to the head, and I feel that's the difference thus far in these striking exchanges.
And you saw it again, the head movement is slight. Do you see how slight it is? Just to go outside of the punch.
Very neatly done by Eddie Cook, but John "Chopper" Reid still very dangerous and coming in, chin down. Hands down too, though.
Well, there was a little bit there that most people might have missed, but we've got a perfect angle from our monitor here, was in that combination that Eddie got mostly the best of, John Reid put a lovely knee that made Eddie wince to the ribcage.
Yeah, he can do that. It's one of my favorite counters, is slipping the jab and then with a lead knee, getting up on your toes and thrusting into your opponent's body. Nicely done. It's those hands down that concerns me, especially with the speed that Eddie Cook comes in.
You took the words out of my mouth. I think he's been unsettled by the speed and the accuracy of Eddie's boxing.
We might be seeing a domino effect here from the early seconds of the round when Eddie Cook started his blitz, and he's not stopped since.
Well, you see, for me now, John Reid, he needs to do one of two things. He needs to either be right in close, get that clinch going, or he needs to be right out of range, because at the moment, at this range, he's getting a lesson. He can't afford it. Look, he just can't afford that.
Eddie Cook is a absolute warrior here, coming in very neatly here with crisp boxing, and like you said, Malcolm, moving wisely on his own terms.
That's right. I love the fact that when you see, here's the thing about head movement, Chris. It's great defensively, but it's not good when you're throwing shots and moving your head. That he moves his head at the right times. He slips in defense and then pushes forward to throw his shots. The head isn't moving just willy-nilly. He knows what he's doing with that movement.
And he's doing also, I believe, that in combination with a solid variation of strikes. Eddie Cook mixes it up with more volume and also, I think, slightly more creativity here in round one. Perhaps, like you said, shocking John Reid a little bit.
I think that's what it is. I think it's that factor with such a young man. As I said, he is damaged. John Reid has got through, and he's got through with some good stuff, but it's been far less. It's been the quantity and quality of Eddie Cook's work. But I said, Reid has been hurtful. That knee hurt. He's marked his man up, but I think you're right, Chris. He's been shocked by the ferocity combined with the accuracy of the technique of Eddie Cook. So, round two, and Reid trying to come back into this bout, but there's the hand speed and movement of Eddie Cook. And finally, they go to ground, Chris.
Oh, that looks tight. Eddie Cook was a little wild there in exchanges and gave up that takedown, but immediately locked up that neck. I like the way he retained full guard. It's very early in the round. May have been, oh man, that's it. That's a wrap, son, with the tap. Very nicely played, very nicely countered. John Reid got greedy with that takedown, and Eddie Cook capitalized.
And what a fairy tale ending to this story, coming down at short notice, dominating the opening round with stand-up, and then finishing early in the second with a submission.
Yeah, it would not have occurred to me, having watched the first 3 minutes of this round, that Eddie would be interested even in taking a submission, really. But he took that neck home, and he took it home early, latching up for a beautiful guillotine finish.
And do you know what? That one really got the crowd here at the White Ox going, Chris. Great crowd here, and they really enjoyed that one.
Spectacular stuff. Just what Warrior Fight Series, Malcolm, is all about.
Ladies and gents, your referee has called a stop to this contest after 28 seconds of the second round. Winner by submission due to a guillotine choke. Fighting out of the red corner, Eddie Cook. Please, one final time, put your hands together for his opponent, John "Chopper" Reid. That bout was brought to you by Traditional Build, the Daily Sport, and Lonsdale.